Hey guys, it's Deanna from Far From Homesteading, and I was just sitting out in the garden today. Sorry, my neighbor is mowing, but I was just sitting out in the garden today and I was thinking, what is the one thing when I started out gardening that intimidated me more than anything else? And I know the answer immediately, and that is how to deal with pest pressure. Now the thing with pest pressure is it seems like every single year you deal with a different kind of a pest. I mean, in some places you have the same pest every year, but where I live, I do not have that experience. I live in northern Washington, and it kind of has seemed like every single year I have gardened, I have dealt with a different kind of pest that I've had to figure out how to cope with in the garden. This year, aphids are terrible. They are everywhere. When I first noticed them, it was on my apple tree earlier in the season, like right when it was starting to get warm, but it kept frosting at night, so it wasn't warm enough to plant your garden. My last expected frost is June 1st. So June 1st is usually the earliest I can plant my plants, but I live in a microclimate, and it might be colder up until June 15th or so. So the last 2 years, I haven't planted until the middle or the later part of June, which when you have a short climate it really affects your growing. So I am a little nervous whether all my tomatoes will ripen, or any of my tomatoes will ripen. My peppers, they were cold. I am a little concerned that they will be stunted. I have circled off into something else, haven't I? Squirrel. Anyways, so we have a super short season, and it seems like every year we deal with a different pest. This year it's aphids. I first noticed them on the apple tree, and it was covered. Just absolutely, the leaves started curling, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do something. I sprayed it off once. They did not. I mean, they were still really bad. So I thought, okay, what am I gonna do? So I took a cue from Mother Nature, and I did nothing. I did nothing with the apple tree, and when I left it alone, the ladybugs showed up. And the ladybugs started laying eggs, and the eggs started hatching into larvae, and they were actually solving the problem for me. And I got to walking around, and I was doing some mowing and stuff because it was early in the year, and I was mowing some places that I haven't mowed in a while. And I noticed that on the milk thistle, they were covered in aphids, like bad, worse than the apple tree. And I thought, I'm just gonna leave this here and see what happens. And within, like by the next week, they were covered in ladybug pupa and some larvae, and there were little ladybug eggs everywhere. And I have got to show you what is going on with this milk thistle. It has turned into like a ladybug nursery, and it's just like producing so many ladybugs, and I'm not having aphids in my garden because I've got so many ladybugs. I just kind of want to show you what this looks like, and then well, you know what, let me just show you. Okay, so this plant right here is called a milk thistle. You probably recognize it. I mean, it's got pokey leaves, it's got spines on the stem. It is a weed that everybody hates. But before I cut a bunch of this out, and then I realized that it is just attracting aphids like no other. Do you see all these aphids? And I knew that that was a good thing because it's working like a trap plant. So you see all these aphids all along the plant. They are everywhere. It's covered in aphids. And I knew that this was going to end up being beneficial. And I want you to see what's happening. Do you see those? Those are ladybug pupas. I have ladybugs in every stage here. So see, the orange ones are the pupas, and then let me see if I can show you one better without getting poked. Do you see the black one? Maybe not. Where's another one with a lot of black ones on it? These black ones are just harder to see in this light. Okay, so here's a good example. Okay. Maybe here. Alright, so the black ones are the larvae. The orange ones are the pupa, and you can kind of tell they're in between stages, some of them. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a great way. Oh, here's a great one. This is all the little larvae. Do you see them? They're black and orange, and that is a ladybug larva, right? Oh, there's one in the sun. I can get in the sun. They are black and orange. They start out orange, the little pupas, and they've laid eggs all over this too. So many stages of ladybug. And, oh, here's one. And then you see, there's the adult ladybug there. She's probably there laying eggs. So this is kind of like a nursery for ladybugs. This is a ladybug nursery. They lay their eggs on these plants because these plants are covered in aphids, see? So there's plenty to eat for their babies. So they'll lay their eggs. Then this little orange, the pupa, it eats the aphids too, and then it turns into the little black larva. And so this is the little pupa, and then it turns into the little black larva that I showed you earlier, and then it turns into a ladybug. And ladybugs eat aphids and keep aphids out of my garden. So this, I'm using these plants as trap plants, and ultimately they're just like ladybug nests, like ladybug nurseries, and that is ultimately benefiting my garden. Isn't that super cool? Like a plant that is just growing there that I was going to get rid of anyways, and it is creating bountiful. Like, I was going to buy ladybugs and they were $35, and I was like, oh no, you don't. Like, I can't do that. I can't afford that. So I haven't, like, I saw some aphids in the garden, but now all I see is ladybugs, and I see no aphids anymore. It's way better than the grasshoppers that we had last year that just ate everything, because I really don't know how to get rid of grasshoppers. Cats eat grasshoppers, chickens-ish eat grasshoppers, but like nothing really, I found nothing that you can do for grasshoppers. So aphids, I was overwhelmed at first, but I knew that Mother Nature is going to take care of it. Gardening doesn't have to be super hard. The natural ecosystem of things is just so amazing, and it is resilient, and you can use it to benefit you in the garden. If you are suffering from aphids, I know this sounds like the craziest thing in the world. Maybe just leave it and see what happens. I mean, if it's on your tomatoes, you get them off. Get them off. Buy you some ladybugs. I mean, you do not want your tomatoes to get ruined. But if they are covering like milk thistle, leave it. It will keep them off of your vegetables. It'll keep them out of your garden. Let them stay on that trap plant and do their thing, and let the ladybugs and the other beneficial insects come and do their thing, and just live with Mother Nature, because that is the way we should be doing it. That's the way God intended us to live on this beautiful earth that we have. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this helps somebody that has aphids. Chill out. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to give it a couple days and see what happens. Let Mother Nature do her thing, because Mother Nature's been doing her thing for thousands of years, way longer than we've been doing our thing, and I mean, it's working so far. So anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time.